mental health, because to me, that looked like someone who had schizophrenia, who happened to, wasn't on their meds probably, and then had suicide, and they got put in a classic old style insane asylum instead of like actual mental health care. So I'm curious, what did you think the audience is gonna assume you meant by the ending being a suicide from someone who's mentally ill, who clearly was off their meds and struggling?
I thought he killed his family.
No, I didn't see it that way at all.
Like,
He killed his family.
because the end was
I
like,
thought
I
he
don't.
lost family members and he couldn't deal with the time that he, yeah.
Oh,
So he went off the deep end because
I
he
wonder if
lost
he
family.
killed
Let's
himself.
throw Michael a
Killed
little bit
his
of a lifeline.
family.
No, it's cool. I like
Yeah,
it.
go ahead.
I wonder if did he kill them? And because they were annoying him so much and always in his way because he's trying to get stuff done. And they're just always there, always pressuring him and then nagging. And then all of a sudden they're gone. I'm just wondering what was his, I mean, and then, when he comes back around to, talking to ghosts and a mess, and, that's not necessarily totally, mental illness, I'm sure, but we all go, bad things happen and we all have some kind of reaction to it. So whatever happened to him, his wife or mother and daughter, I'm assuming?
I got the premise of all of it. He lost his kid, his mother, or not his kid, but his mother, probably mother-in-law, or wife on fire. That's what it looks like.
Come clean,
Am I
Mike.
correct?
Come clean.
No, I mean, there's so many different interpretations. I mean, that's the point of filmmaking. She took it one way,
It looks
you
good.
took it another way, and that's the whole point too. Like, I love films where I can go and sit. When my wife and I went and saw Birdman, we sat in the theater afterwards for an hour and a half talking, and that's my kind of jam. I like to just make things that, or not make things, I like to watch things that can be interpreted different ways. There was, people would ask Kurt Cobain after he made his music. I mean, he did end up killing himself, or, I mean, it's, so, maybe he did, maybe
Courtney
he
loved
didn't.
it.
Courtney.
Depends who you talk to.
She did it.
Depends, Cole, whoever you talk to. And they would always ask him, and he would say, what do you think? Maybe, sure, it's like that. And even the band members that are playing his songs, and I'm not saying that there's no meaning behind it whatsoever, but it is, everything is exaggerated to, like, everyone makes is exaggerated to some point of something that they go through and feel. And, we moved her mom in with us, so that definitely inspired this movie. She's been living with us for a year now, and it's very intense. And I don't know, I'd rather not, that's the first time I ever heard that, so that's cool.
Well, it was clear, you saw things that weren't there, you were talking to people who weren't
Yeah.
there, you were eating food that wasn't there. It's just
Maybe
not
it was a
the same.
regret for what he did, or maybe he didn't, or maybe it was that, and that's cool that you got that it was an old school insane asylum, because that was done in my kitchen.
It's very outdated and
I
it
know.
helps to promote stigma, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, I know, there's things out there, I mean, you look at One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and all kinds of movies, there's things out there, it is art, and there's things that I watch that I absolutely hate, but it makes me think and talk, and we're having a conversation now, and I think that's beautiful, and I think that by me saying exactly what it's about, I think might ruin it for somebody, because you like to, there's a smile on your face when you said it, so I appreciate that. It's just the sound, and it wasn't you, because the other movie was fine, it was like from Film Freeway, I promise you, the sound on that's much better than that. I mean, I use nice equipment to make that, and I've watched in other places, so it must have been Film Freeway, or
Yeah, it must
the
be.
file or something like that.
Oh, Mike, that's camera audio, don't play with it.
Fuck that. That is not fucking camera audio. Actually,
Come here, bro, baby.
the fact that I was able to, my whole room, my whole house, we shot this whole thing in my home, and the whole thing is tile. And the fact that we were able to get it not echo was fucking fantastic to me. It was a two-man crew, it was me and another guy, director, wrote it, starred in it, produced it, and my buddy filmed it, and I helped him do sound, and so it was a challenge to myself. I'm tired of sitting around and waiting for jobs and things. Like yesterday, I was a PA on a fucking set. I mean, it's okay. I was working on set on a Lifetime movie. I was a fucking PA, but I was working. And I'm tired of sitting around and doing things. And the funny thing, the fucked up thing is, I just moved from LA, and I finally made something that I am proud of after I moved, you know. It's just sitting around waiting, it's just, yeah. And then now I have all these,
Welcome to Jackson.
I know, now I have someone called me yesterday, hey, let's do a movie, but I'm like, fuck, dude, I can't come back on a $500 ticket for an $800 job, dude. So, you know, it's cool, like most people in this room, like we're making things instead of waiting for fucking people to tell us what's
So it's very professionally done.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
My
That was,
son did a great job.
thank you. Thank you.
So what was the intent? Like, I don't.
The intent
What
was just to
as the director, what were you trying to achieve?
at first actually, I'm in a mentorship for production. And in this mentorship, I was challenged to make a 2-minute film and to show my eye, what kind of eye I had. And it ended up turning into something that was 13 minutes long. And I didn't have an intention in the beginning except for that my office is taken over by my mother-in-law. And I have now, my office is in my fucking living room. And I am surrounded by my fucking cats. That is my cat, my daughter, my mother-in-law, my wife, and all of these things happening around me, and it is driving me crazy. You know, so that it came out of a place of that. And what was the intent? I don't really have one, just to make something. I don't know. I don't try to write things that try to make someone have a specific point. I just write what I enjoy. And I tend to watch things that people believe and go crazy. And I am a fan of Quentin Tarantino's and Robert Rodriguez, and I like that style, and David Lynch is one of my heroes. And I just like bizarre, weird things, and that was pretty much my intent. You know, and look, it brought up stigma, so maybe it will help somebody. I don't know. Pulp Fiction. Oh, that's a fantastic film. I fucking love that movie. So, you know, and but look, it made you have some emotions, and maybe I'm happy, maybe I'm sad.
I mean, it's a pretty powerful ending to not know why you did it. I mean,
maybe I do. I don't know.
I mean, as a director and a writer, shouldn't you be able to convey that?
I like his head shake.
I
I can, but I can in my and what my perception of it is, and that might ruin it for somebody else. I don't want to do that. Yeah.
So the film is basically just basically for fun, for experimentation and fun, not for future evidence. Okay. Just clarifying.
I wasn't looking for distribution. I wasn't looking to make it into something else, but I wanted to be something that had a middle, beginning, and end instead of just writing scene work. And my goal, and I have actually a silent film that I did before this. Don't watch it. I mean, you can. No, it's just, it's off, you know. And my goal was to make 5 or 6 shorts, so I can get to the point where I felt I want to be sick a minute at a time. Yeah, totally. I love that movie. I love that movie. Yeah.
Are those your shots with the fire, the young lady in the fire, the little 3 or 4 frame shots, or you grab from a movie, or?
Yeah, so that was found footage, yeah, for sure. That was I didn't catch my house on fire. So that's okay, he's still alive.
I just figured you were prolifically researching.
I did, I was thinking about doing that in my backyard and starting a small fire and doing it that way, but the amount of time that it would have taken for it to not look better than that, you know, I didn't think it was worth the time, that it still had the effect, you know, of a fire happening or not, or whatever, you know. So, you know, yeah, I just want to get better a minute at a time, and I'm up to 12, so maybe next time it's 20.
It's also great to showcase your writing, your directing, your acting all in one piece, you know what I mean? And I think your question is valid. My take on it is an artist doesn't necessarily have to nail his piece or her piece down to one thing. You can do that, but you can also have films that are a little ambiguous, and people have different interpretations. I mean, look at Citizen Kane, one of the greatest films of all time, has a million interpretations, you know what I mean? So you don't necessarily have to leave the audience with something that everyone agrees on. It's okay to have diversity of interpretation, in my opinion.
You just gotta get a brother a boom mic and a Zoom recorder, and you can turn that gold into platinum, you know?
Now I want to replay it with my phone. You're a fucker, dude.
Figure that out.
Now I'm gonna fucking prove it to you. That fucking sound is sick. You know, you just fucking sit down there and might
Don't
We have one more question, and then we'll,
I have a question and a couple comments, and I think the TV, I bet you anything, there's like a weird surround sound, bass surround sound.
Yeah, because I've listened to it and seen it many places. There's different
spacious. I could hear it here, but I know they probably couldn't.
Yeah, I couldn't. I was
on 98, come on.
Did you act first, or were you always a
So I acted first. I've been acting for about 12 years. I acted first, and then within my class, I started sub-teaching one teacher, and then I started directing there. And so I was transitioning, and mostly all of it was theater. So I directed mostly in theater, and then I transitioned, and I got sick, because directing is the hardest job to get. You know, you're waiting, and you're moving up, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and you're waiting. So I was like, fuck that. I'm gonna start writing my own shit. I'm gonna direct my own shit, so I can prove my own self.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Well done, sir.
Same dream, homie. You look good about this, you know?
You're saying you transitioned, you look great. Good job.
What is that? I'm sorry.
I said, you're saying you transitioned, I think you've done a great job, the beard looks good.
Yeah, dude. So that was a cool thing because like that was part of my thing was making time look past and making myself look frumpier, fatter, and thinner and leaner, and I accomplished that. That was all done in a week. We filmed the entire thing in 1 week. I flew somebody down from LA. We sat in my house, filmed for every day, all night, every day. We finished this entire thing front to back in 2 or 3 weeks. Got into festivals, like all within a few weeks, you know. So
I appreciated you had a non-linear approach, which lent itself to feeling more likely to have schizophrenia or PTSD, extreme PTSD. So right off the rip, I could tell there was something going on because the pacing was interesting because you were like, it was a slow burn, then it was a fast go, and it was a slow burn. So for me, I felt that you're in his head, and I sort of picked up early. I was like, they're not there, and the way you were doing it was pretty interesting. And the projection, I get that people are going to project themselves onto your film, and I think that's kind of a good thing. Like you said, it enables people to talk about that.
Agreed.
Because I didn't think you were, like Shutter Island wasn't glorifying mental illness, like it was a beautiful film that, so I saw a little Shutter Island in there just a bit.
love that part.
I liked it.
The silence is my favorite part. I love silence in films. Like silent moments, I think are the best.
It's uncomfortable, and so there was
Yeah,
the
dude.
first shot was like long, and I was like,
That
I
white
like this.
shot at the table was dragging and we're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, here we
But that
go.
created
Yeah.
an uncomfortability, which really helped
It does.
A lot of filmmakers editors are afraid to do
Afraid
that.
of uncomfortable pauses. People are afraid. We're in this society where everything has to move like this, and they all
TikTok has
and they
ruined it.
Dude, ruined it. And like your film has to like I actually had an extra couple seconds in the beginning that I cut because there's this guy that I'm in a mentorship with. Like, oh, if you don't hit it in 2.5 minutes, I'm not gonna get in the festivals. Oh, if you don't hit it in the first, now we're down to 30 seconds. If your script doesn't hit in 30 seconds, they're gonna fucking throw it in the trash. You know, and we need to stay away from that and just be true to what. I need to be true to what I love because, like, once you get past the gatekeepers or whatever, then all that shit goes away because, you know, I'm also in the screenwriting group and here's the rules, here's the formatting, here's the screenwriter's Bible, which is a great one if you guys haven't seen it or whatever. But you have to do these certain things. But then you get past those gatekeepers, you see these people like, well, what about this film? They're like, oh, well, they're famous, they're allowed to do that. And it's like, but that film's fucking great. So I have to be an asshole to get to that point. And then I can do what I want? It's like, no, you do what you want from the beginning. Eraserhead's one of the most demented fucking movies on the planet. David Lynch. My wife fucking hates that movie. It's weirdly, awfully awesome, you know, and it breaks all of every room of angles.
You just have to know the
of
rules.
jump cuts.
Break the rules.
Yeah, that's it.
If you're breaking rules without knowing it, then you're probably missing something.
Yeah.
Let me ask, is there other filmmakers here that we haven't shown yet? Any other, yes, which one?
No way out.
No Way Out, okay, cool. Keep talking.
What about race?
Yeah, John, that's what I was wondering. We're waiting here for
Oh,
Louis.
is that a movie today?
We're waiting for,
One more.
two more friends that were supposed to come for that.
Mike,
Yep,
David said he'll be here about 20 minutes.
okay. You wanna wait for him? Okay.
How old is he?